Alright guys, we're ready to backfill an area over here. We got our string line set up, rough graded. If you were with me on the last video, I showed you that our benchmark over here is the height of this bulkhead. So that's what we're going off of. We want to get a pitch to go that way, and we're also going to have a pitch go that way. So everything from here out is going to pitch down, and it's also going to catch that pitch, and it's going to pitch that way. So the fire pit area and the patio that surrounds the fire pit is going to be the lowest spot, and any surface water is going to come down, flow, and drain off into the yard. When we set up everything, the grass over there is 3 inches higher than our bulkhead, and this over here is about an inch and a half higher. Depending on where you are in the area, the grass is higher. So around the edges on this side and that side, the grade is going to slope into the patio, but again, any water that catches the patio is going to run off, go down into the yard. This line right here we got set up. We got a nice strong 1/8 of a pitch, just a little bit past the line. So we got this pitching down this way, and when we set this one up, you can see we got a 1/8 of a pitch. Okay guys, so when the bubble just touches the line on your level, either direction, doesn't matter which way it's going, it's called an 1/8 of a pitch, meaning the grade or the level is sloped 1 inch per 8 feet. I wanted to mention that because I get a few questions here and there, and I want to be clear on that. We call it an 1/8 of a pitch or an 1/8 of a bubble, but the meaning behind it is simply that every 8 feet of length, the slope is 1 inch lower than it is on the other side. And that's what the bubble reads. It doesn't matter how far the length is or anything like that. That bubble just touching that line is telling you that for every 8 feet of length, it's sloped 1 inch lower than the starting point. Going that way. So now that we know where the top of grade is going to be, top of paver, now we check for the depth that we have excavated. You want a minimum of 8. So this spot right here is about 10 1/4. Okay, so on about 90% of the installs we do, whether it be walkways or patios, walls, stairs, we excavate 8 to 12 inches below the top of paver height. And this is going to account for 6 to 8 inches of base rock, which what I use is 3/4 inch clean crushed stone. Around here it's crushed granite, and we call it open grade base. It's also going to account for 1 inch of chip stone for our bedding stone, which is a 3/8 crushed clean crushed stone, and it also accounts for the paver height of about 2 3/8. This spot here is about 9 3/4, so we got plenty of room there to have 6 inches of 3/4 inch crushed stone, 1 inch of our bedding stone, and then 2 3/8, 2.5 inch for our pavers. So that area over here is ready to be backfilled. So before we backfill, what I'm going to do is I'm going to track compression compact with the tracks in this area, and then I'm going to spread a thin layer, 1 to 2 inches of 3/4 inch crushed stone, the same base material we're going to use above the fabric. We're going to spread that out, compact that with our plate compactor, and then lay fabric and just backfill on top of that. So let's just get right into it and throw you guys up on a time lapse, and we're going to get this area right here ready to backfill. So what this is going to do, spreading out this thin layer of 3/4 inch stone before we compact and before we lay our fabric, is it's going to fill in any air pockets that may have come from when we were digging up the subsoil, especially with a lot of fill that has a lot of rocks in it like this, like as you can see right here actually. So you have things like this to where the hole creates because the rock shifted from where you were digging. So what this is going to do when you spread a layer of this stone out, right, is it's going to fill holes like this. That hole's full now, right? So if we do even more, cover it up. Now when we go to compact that little void is full. It's not gonna sink over time now. I don't know if you can hear me with that wind. But so what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna double compact this area, and all the rocks are gonna get pushed into those voids in the subsoil and create a nice firm sub base. We're gonna be putting this fabric down right here, right? This gator fabric, GF5. I will show you what that's like when I open it up, but we're gonna put that fabric down, and that's what's recommended. And what happens is people will put this fabric down right on top of the subsoil, and the only downfall to that is if there ever is a sinkhole or anything like that, the stone can't get through, the 3/4 inch stone, it can't get through to fill in that void. So what we have to do is we got to spread this layer out before we put the fabric, rake it, compact it into the voids of the subsoil, and then once it's compacted, we're going to spread this fabric out on top of the stone and then backfill it with more of the same stone. Common practice when it comes to like clay subsoils, not very drainable subsoils, they call it correcting the base. And that's what it is. You put the stone down. Once it gets compacted into like a clay subsoil, it opens the soil up a little bit more for water to permeate through it, instead of compacting clay. If you compact clay and make it nice and flat, you're pretty much making it hard for water to permeate into it. You don't want your subsoil compacted flat because it kind of closes up all the gaps and makes it hard for water to drain. So I hope that explanation helps you out a little bit, makes it make a little bit more sense when you watch me do these jobs. But that is a very important step of this process, probably one of the most important in my mind. And we do it on every install, walkway, patio, wall, stairs, whatever have you. So let's get back into it. I'm going to compact and I'm going to start backfilling. Okay, I want to try to explain it a little bit better with this compacting. Without putting this thin layer of stone down before I compact with this plate compactor, and if I were to just compact the actual soil, in my opinion, what you're actually doing is making the subsoil even harder to accept water. You're pushing the soil down together and you're creating a nice smooth compacted surface, and it's going to be hard for water to penetrate that soil as compared to when you do something like what I'm doing here. When you lay out the 3/4 and compact that into the subsoil, you're compacting the subsoil and you're also opening up the soil to accept water and allow it to be a little bit more permeable than it would just compacting the sub base. So this is something I do on every install, and it's something that I don't see enough contractors doing, in my opinion. I wish that more people were doing it this way. There'd be a lot less patio and walkway failures, in my opinion. So here's our compacted area, and then our fabric. So this is what you end up wanting to see. Fabric on top of this nice compacted 3/4 inch stone. Fabric, backfill with your stone up to the height where you're going to be putting your screed rails and your chip stone, and that's it. So a question that I did want to address that I get asked sometimes is, do I compact the 3/4 after I put it on top of the fabric? And the answer is no, simply because when we do a residential install, this stone comes 98% compacted, and underneath the foot traffic, there's not going to be any sinking. If there's ever sinking over time, say 1/4 of an inch, which is like natural settlement, it will all drop evenly, and you'll never know. So that's the plus about this open grade base, is the backfilling itself doesn't need to be compacted if it's only going to be foot traffic, walkways, patios. If you do a driveway, they do recommend, and I do recommend, that you compact in a few lifts, just because there's going to be vehicular traffic. So just the weight of it alone. But underneath your foot, this stone will not sink or shift after it's all raked out. Pavers are on it, and then once you compact the pavers, everything's going to stay nice and firm. And this is the system we do on every install. So pavers are here. That was the other thing. Pavers are here. Alright guys, I want to be really clear. These techniques that I'm going over are purely for foot traffic installs, patios and walkways. Prepping for a driveway, paver driveway, is a totally different thing, and it's not something that I'm addressing in this video. I'm addressing only foot traffic areas. We got 2 pallets dropped right now. He's coming with some more. And I just want to talk for a minute about actually getting deliveries on a job like this. We got, I think there's going to end up being 7 pallets of materials. You know, it's kind of silly to not get a delivery at that point. You're paying a premium delivery price, but they're doing a premium service for you. I mean, they're getting you all the material there. If they're able to, they drop it where you want to. They work with you pretty good, and it just saves me a bunch of time and money. You know, I don't have to deal with loading up this trailer full of really heavy material, delivering it, unloading it myself. You know, that price for delivery pays for itself. Simple as that, Benny. Simple as that. Hey, does that feel firm underneath your feet?
It's pretty hard, man. Pretty solid.
Yeah, buddy. Alright, what's the name of the pavers we're using? It is manufactured by Genest. They're out of Maine. And it's called Grand Katahdin Stone. And it's a granite blend, which is a gray color. And that pallet over there is the border, like he said. It's called Eastern Bay, made by the same provider, Genest, and it's a charcoal color. So we're gonna have a nice contrasting border around the whole edge of the patio. Stone deliveries here. It's 10 yards, and 10 yards delivered. Here it comes. Oh. Bang, and there it is. That'd be 3 loads, a little bit more than 3 loads in my truck and trailer, so why not get it delivered, right? Update time. All backfilled pretty much close to our grade, up to here. Then he's covering the last load of fill to be pulled out. Had Got a little left over to be able to raise this grade up just a little bit because this was the low spot. Low and slow, Benny.
Slow, bud.
Low and slow. Low and slow. That's how you drive. Love this GoPro. Look, you can see the entire truck and trailer in one screen. Plywood, very important, very important. Going on and off a driveway like that, you can crack the edge real easy. And that's not too cheap to fix, and customers don't really like that. So anyway, we are excavated, guys. We are excavated out. Can you kind of see it? It's gonna be a big patio, really. We got 6.5 pallets of regular patio pavers, or 5.5. I think it's 130 square feet, something like that per pallet. We're looking good. This is day 2 here. It's 3:30 right now. So we're hoping by the end of the day I'll be able to have everything on the base layer compacted, the rest of the fabric laid out, and backfilled with whatever stone we have in the driveway. So I'm going to go through this area here and get some of these big stones, rake it out, compression compact it with the tracks of the machine, and then spread this 3/4 inch stone out thin, compact it with the plate compactor. Try to get this whole area backfilled and pretty close to where we can start screeding and laying pavers tomorrow on day 3. Let's get it. guys think Benny's got this on the first try? A little bit on the grass, but he's in. What's up, bud? How was your trip? Good? Okay, if you're still with me, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something on this how to install concrete pavers with open grade base video. If you're a new viewer, make sure you hit that like and subscribe for a lot of content like this. If you're a subscriber and a consistent viewer, thank you so much for your support. I couldn't be more appreciative. Until the next video, God bless.